Just give a brief description about yourself.
Okay, my name is Uche Uba, and I'm an artist here in Nigeria. I am a stylist, a model, and I also do interiors and visual merchandising for brands, for fashion brands as well. But yeah, other than that, I'm just like a normal.
And I'm sensing some energy in
Yeah.
the um. So, what are you interested in? Like, are you interested in men?
To be honest, I'm interested in. I would say I'm interested in people. Yeah, men included, but I'm interested in people in general. I'm very much
Dating,
um.
dating.
You said what?
In terms of dating.
Yeah. I know that's what you are.
Oh, okay.
I think for me, it's about the person. I've seen people that I would. So initially, when I started in the dating scene, I think my first ever love interest was this girl in school. And I think from then on to every other person I've dated, there's kind of like a similarity. It's about their personality, I would say. Um, I haven't really had that much love interest, but in the dating scene, my options are always open, I would say.
What does that mean? Is it like a buy or
To be
I
honest,
other
to be,
thing?
I think there's a lot of sexuality on the spectrum now for people to just say, I'm bi. There's just so much. There are trans people, there are men, there are women, there are non-binary people. So I don't think saying bi would be very accurate. But yeah, but then I also don't want to go into the different terminologies and say pansexual or this. I just feel like
Wait, pansexual is when you don't really care men or women.
yeah, exactly. Or
Fast.
you don't really care the sexuality, I would say. It's about, yeah, someone says it's about the person's soul, and I think that like translates properly. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but then back to what I was saying, I think like with when you when you look at people that have like a strong support for Andrew Tate, men consistently live under the approval of other men. I don't know why, but it's just that. Like even and in the dating scene, I've come to realize that men kind of do not like women, even the straight ones. Like, I don't know, for some reason they just don't like women, and I'm like, okay, so why don't you just go ahead and just date men? It's like a man is with a woman, and then the moment his boys or his gangs come in, it's almost like they kind of like shift the attention. Everything is done in service and in appreciation to their fellow men. And it's so weird to me because like I feel, especially if you're in a relationship or I've just seen men like discard their partners
I honestly
totally.
feel like men don't like women. Like
No,
not
they don't.
all men, because I feel like men get upset when you put them all into one box. But a lot of men are they aren't sexually attracted to other men, and all
Yeah.
the women for is basically for sex. But when it comes to validation, when it comes to wanting advice, they don't see that they can take advice from a woman. They don't see that they don't even feel that compatibility. They don't feel joy being around a woman. For them, all a woman is there is just to serve them. But when it comes to other things, they just feel like a woman's not capable. They don't think a woman's strong. They don't think a woman's wise. They don't feel like they should take advice from a woman. They feel like they should just come into a woman. She cooks for you, fucks you, and are boys. Really, they're all gay. They're just gay men that aren't really sexually attracted to men. That's how I see it. You might be gay,
That's
like really. Okay, Marta, can you just introduce yourself and just give a brief description about yourself?
Of course, yeah. So I'm Marta. I follow like all the podcasts to do the red pill and stuff for a while now. Literally, I've watched every single one of them. Anyway, I work for probation services. Probably shouldn't say that on here. But yeah, so I work in criminal justice sector. I live in Cambridge, and yeah, and the whole reason why I really wanted to. come on was to talk about the situationship, because I feel like none of the podcasts really cover this grey area, as they say, and I'm really interested.
That's true. Like, I feel like it's always black and white. It's always women are this, men are that, and it's like, okay, what this grey area? Like, what are we gonna do about it? But we need you to talk about this grey area. What do you mean about the grey area?
Not like grey area, but what I mean is, like, I don't really see a lot of people talk about situationships on podcasts. I don't know why. It's normally about general relationships or like being single, but like specific situationships, you know, where you kind of
Go into
play
it.
in a limbo.
What do you like in a man? What do you want in a man?
Oh gosh, what do I want? Ah, God, when you put it like that, definitely someone that has a good character, obviously all the good stuff in terms of loyalty. I mean, I've just come out from an 8-year relationship where my ex-boyfriend has actually left. So, generally speaking, like, you want protection, you want someone honest, you know, you want someone loyal, you want someone that can not necessarily provide for you, but someone that someone you know that they would provide for you if you lost your job or things were to go bad, you know. I don't know, like,
Yeah, that's quite simple. I mean,
yeah.
I don't seem to ask for much. I feel like that's bare minimum. What about you,
Mhm.
okay? I mean, you said that you is it pansexual, so you kind of go both. So what would you say you like in a partner?
To be honest, in a partner, I think I've gotten to a place where I just feel like good communication and compatibility is basically what I think is necessary. Every other thing is secondary to me, um, because I work and I can provide for myself at least the things I need and some of the things I want. So it would be good to have a partner that has some money, but honestly, that's secondary as well. I just feel like things kind of get like more difficult when you're dating someone who's not very much compatible with you,
What do
who's not
you
compatible.
for? I feel like that's a
Okay,
very
so
hard.
certain times the odds are stacked against you when you're dating a particular person.
Okay,
It's one thing.
um, basically related to you. So,
Mhm.
what would be compatible to you as a person?
Okay, as a person, I would want someone. So I'm an artist, but I would want to date someone who understands my industry and understands my work, just so it's not like, when I have to do certain things, I then have to explain why certain things are happening, or why I can't be home this evening, or why I have to be away from home for like a month because I'm on
That
some
understand
production.
your
Someone
work.
that exactly, someone that understands my work. I'm not very big on marriage, and I'm not also big on children as well. In fact, I do not want children. So that's something else that I also say has to be compatible. Now, dating someone that I feel, heavily wants to start a family, that's I'm not going to negate what they want, or like, try to convince them otherwise, because I feel like that would be subtracting from what they feel makes them whole and makes them a person. My responsibility is to find someone who also believes in what I believe in. Someone who probably doesn't want a child as well, wants to do other things. I don't know exactly where my life is going to take me in the next 20 years, but from what I can see now, is going to be a very my kind of person. I want to be here today, and in the next 5-10 years I could say, okay, I want to live somewhere else, I want to do something else, I want something more exciting. It's easier.
Whenever, wherever.
Yeah, it's easier to
If
do
it's
that with a partner. Exactly, it's easier to do that with a partner, but it's more
that's
difficult to do with children, where you have to start moving them from
you
one
don't
place
want
to
kids
the other.
at all.
You said what?
You don't want kids at all?
No, I don't. I mean, in the future, if I do, I think there are lots of children outside somewhere that needs a home. I could as well just provide home for children
So
who,
you would
you know,
adopt the
yeah. I don't think there's anything, you know, particularly beneficial. I don't think having my own biological offspring does anything else or adds anything particularly to the universe, honestly.
But what if like everything else is perfect? He is understanding, he or she is understanding, they love you, they provide the support for you. It's just that one thing that they want kids.
I don't know. Honestly, the kids part is a deal breaker for me, to be honest. I just feel like a lot of people, I've seen countless times people who have kids, and obviously when the kids come, they almost have no other. Okay, yeah, she's here. So you
Sorry, I
almost
have
have no other option but to love that child. But did you really want the child though? You know, and then certain times we kind of like regurgitate certain toxic traits that our parents have left in us, like in our upbringings. You start like projecting. People just want their children to be an extension of themselves. And I feel like that's in itself innately problematic, to be honest. If your child comes out and doesn't want to be anything like you, doesn't have your beliefs, doesn't have your values, it doesn't make them any less your child or any less a person. It just means that they've grown into their own person. But when people want to have kids, they don't always think about this. They don't always think about the fact that you could have someone who is totally different from you and who wouldn't share your values. And your responsibility as a parent is that you have to be okay with that. You have to also understand the fact that, okay, this is my child, but this is a different, whole, independent individual. And I think I have a lot of stuff that I'm still working through. I don't feel like having the child in the mix right now or anytime in the future is ideal. And I think it's good enough. I feel like
that's really important to say that.
Yeah.
Or like you need to work on yourself.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people know that they still have their traumas and they still have stuff that they need to deal with, and then they'll go have kids and then inflict their traumas on their kids and then continue a cycle, a toxic cycle, basically.
Exactly.
So Marta,
I
can't see your face properly.
wait, because of the lighting. Yeah, so as I was saying, like I agree, like we need to grow up if we want to be ready for marriage in the future. There's so much growing that you need to do as a person. There's so much healing from the trauma or situations that you've had in your life. And I'm definitely on the same boat, like especially after being in a relationship for such a long time. There's no way like I would be ready for marriage within the next 3-4 years. There's no chance. There's so much healing that you have to do within yourself.
Yeah, no, completely. Like, so much power in that.
Yes.
So what happened with this situation? What happened in this scenario?
Well, that's the problem. Nothing is really happening. We've sort of been seeing each other for over 2 months, and you know, normally you would either sort of be steering towards a relationship at least, and it's not really going anywhere. Like, it's just like we see each other, we spend time together, you know, we go out a bit, we watch films. Obviously, this is all like after work hours. We speak every day, but like, obviously, like we're physically like together, if you know what I mean, as well. But I just feel like after 2 months of like seeing someone, you should be able to know where you stand with someone, and I really, really don't feel it.
Yeah. Do you feel like he's not taking that next step with you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know that he's straight out of a relationship as well, but still, like we both are.
Sorry?
I said that he's also straight out of a previous relationship with his ex.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know, I don't really want to push him, but it's like, come on, it's 2023 now, and it's like, what do we do? Do you know what I mean?
I hear that. I mean, I feel like a lot of girls deal with this where it's like you're speaking to a guy and then it doesn't go anywhere. I'm not gonna lie to you. After 2 months and it ain't going nowhere, like it wouldn't even reach a month for me. I'm already done. In the first month, I'm done. Like we don't need to talk anymore because you're clearly wasting my time. So my honest opinion is probably, I think I even saw a tweet that was saying if a guy doesn't wife you after 6 months, move on. Like move on, because men know what they want. They know exactly what they want. And if like it's been like a couple months, to me I would say 3 months, right? If you've done 3 months with this guy and you ain't seen any signs of him wanting to be your man, I'm just like, I think he probably just sees you as an option, which is really sad. And again, that's what we're talking about, this grey area, which is really sad. But unfortunately, different men are in different stages of their life. So maybe at that stage of his life, he's come out of a relationship. He's not looking to go into another relationship. He just wants to have fun. And you being there, it's just like, well, I can have the fun. And it's sad for you because if you're wanting a relationship, that is really sad. But I think it's just understanding the situation. You can't make a man want something. If they don't want it, they don't want it. And trust me, when they want you, you know. And someone have said, like, whatever, don't let a man tell you the same thing twice. So it's like, if he's basically showing you, believe him. Don't be trying to find like this ultimate answer. Maybe you just need to figure him out, whatever it is. Like, I really just think he's told you loud and clear he doesn't want a relationship. And it's sad. It really is sad. What do you think about the situation, Uche?
To be honest, so as someone who has been in certain situationships that never actually worked out in my favor, what I've realized is that at some point we kind of wait for the conversation to be had, and either one party is not willing to, is not upfront or forthcoming with that conversation, and then the other party is kind of waiting, like, I don't want to be the one to have to and for me it makes me feel extra silly when I now have to be the one to kind of like initiate that conversation and be like, okay, so what's going on? But then one thing I've also learned is that the outcome will be the same regardless.
Vulnerable can be hard.
Exactly.
It is hard.
I
am not vulnerable.
No, vulnerability can be very difficult.
Oh, why for me? I'm not being vulnerable. I don't want to know. Like, I will just move on because I have had it.
The thing is,
to ask, and it's like, you already know. Don't do it to yourself. Don't be vulnerable to a man that isn't gonna respect it. It's just gonna hurt you even more. But yeah, go on.
The thing is, kind of like opening up that way makes you feel, it's going to be like extra silly for you, or you feel that way when you have to kind of like bring that, walk up and then muster up the courage if it doesn't go in your favor. Like, so where do you go from here? But the truth is, the outcome of that conversation, no matter how hard it is most likely the same. Whether you ask now or the conversation is had like 2 months from now, it's going to be the same. If he doesn't want it now, chances are he won't want it later. If he wants it now, chances are maybe in the next 2 months he may have realized it. So, but something that you need to understand is that regardless, your time is being wasted and you're dwelling on uncertainties and your mental health is suffering. You're going home every night wondering, okay, when is this going to happen? Where is this going? But no one is having that conversation. And because all your energy is focused on that particular scenario or what with that particular outcome that you're hoping to get, all other options are closed. So anyone...
that's something I wanted to ask. Are you dating other people, Marta?
No, hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no. Guys. We talk about this, yeah, but at the same time, if I message him during the day and say, oh yeah, what are you up to, blah, blah, and then he replies and then he asks me what I'm doing and I say, oh yeah, I'm just getting ready, then he will ask me specifically, yeah, he will say, What are you getting ready for? Where are you going? Who are you going with? Do you get it? Like, he will actually ask me like multiple times about those things, and it's like, if you're not planning to be in a relationship with me or anything like that romantically, then why do you ask me about what I'm doing or who I'm doing it with? I don't understand. What's
I
the
think
man's logic?
a lot of men do this where it's like I'm gonna be honest, I've been in a situation. I'm gonna last for 2 months because I don't got time for that. But I have been in a situation where it was like this man basically was like giving the relationship vibes. Like he wanted me to do everything that you do in a relationship. It got to a point that I was even doing a CV for him because he didn't have a job at the time, and I was helping him look for a job. And then this man was telling me that he ain't ready for a relationship because one thing about me, I do not assume. I don't fucking assume that a man wants a relationship. I have that conversation. Like, listen, this is what I want. What do you want? And then he was basically telling me that he wasn't ready for a relationship. And I'm like, so why the fuck am I here doing your fucking CV, helping you look for a job? And it took me a while. It actually took my cousin, who's a male, to tell me that, yo, listen, this guy's taking you for a dickhead. Like, my cousin was like, girl, you gotta move on. This man will never want to be with you. It's never going to change. At this point of his life, he does not want a relationship. There is nothing you can do as a woman. You can try and be there for him as much as you can. And the thing is, he was doing the same things that you, like you're saying. He was literally asking me where I'm going. We were talking every day. And I'm like, how do you even have that time? How do you have the time to want to talk to me in depth? I was spending time with him. I was staying at his house for you to tell me that you don't want to be in a relationship. So I think it's important to understand that some men, it's like they just want the benefits of be like you being there for them and you're their girl, but they're not your man.
Yeah.
So don't take it
Yes.
as
Yeah.
he wants to be in a relationship. Take it as he just wants to eat his cake and have it.
That's
So
ridiculous.
sorry. So something I've learned is that at some point, no matter how vulnerable or gut wrenching it can be, actually not you asking him out, but you setting the premise where you guys have like a very cohesive, conclusive conversation as to where is this going. Sometimes we feel like we're doing too much having to kind of initiate that conversation and ask that. But what I have learned it does is that you're basically taking hold of the narrative and like hold of the situation and just kind of, you know, grabbing it by the literal balls basically and just like having a grasp of that conversation, so it's almost like, setting like a premise. Let's not know what's going on here. And I think what comes out of that conversation kind of like informs you on your next step to go. So it's like you ask, okay, what exactly are we doing? It's either he says, I really like you, but I'm just kind of like taking it slow. And then you know that, okay, probably this person just needs time. And it's now up to you to decide what exactly is the time frame here. Like, how far do I go before I know that, okay, I have to remove myself from this situation? But then sometimes you ask this and then they try to like double down and be like, oh no, I don't really know. It's never like a cohesive response. And I think in that scenario, you just know that, okay, this person is not really willing to commit, and I'm just going to be here for God knows how long and nothing is going to come out of it. So at that point, I think for me, that's when I actually remove myself from the conversation. Times where I have had to like, open up and then ask specific questions like, where is this going? All of this energy you're giving is not really giving friends to me. It's kind of hinting to something else, but we've never really had like that conversation to kind of know where this is going. Is this a friends with benefit situation? Are you just looking for a friend? Are you looking for a partner? What exactly are we doing here?
But
I
how
think
man she has that conversation just like straight with it, like, listen,
Yeah, I
I
think so.
know
I think so. I think I think so. Like it doesn't have to be a very confrontational conversation, but it's kind of like, okay, from my own peace of mind, I really need to understand what's going, like what exactly does this mean to you? Like it can just be like a very subtle, calm conversation. It doesn't have to be anything confrontational. It doesn't have to be anything like, I think for me, in times like that, I kind of like put emotions aside and just deal with logic. It's very much a almost like an interview for me. That's how that's how it works for me.
I'm gonna lie, I hear what you're saying about have a conversation, but I don't know, because I feel like it would kind of hurt my ego as well, because I have been in a situation where I've had to ask, but it's like deep down you already know the answer, because more time, if he likes you, you will know. There would be no grey areas. The fact that there is grey areas is probably because it's not gonna go anywhere. So me, in that kind of situation, what I've learned to do is not even put any pressure on it. Just date. I'll go and date other people. Like, date other people, and if I like him enough, I'll keep in contact with him, but I don't put that power into his hands where I'm the one asking him for a relationship, because I know my value as well. So it's like, okay, he's not ready to give me that commitment. I don't even need to even ask him, because a man knows when they want something. They know. So what I'm going to do is also put myself out there. So I'm also seeing other people and I'm having options. And then if it feels like he's ready, then he'll come to me. And then, you know what? We can talk. But I think that's something I've learned from the past, because when I have asked in the past, it's gone nowhere. Like, I've gained nothing from it. They've never changed their mind because they know what they want. All it just clarifies to me is that he doesn't want to be in a relationship. I'm wasting time. So literally, that what I would suggest personally is to just date other people, just so you don't then depend on this person for validation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, but at the same time, because I don't expect that he is dating other people, God forbid, literally. But the thing is, what if he finds out that I've started to date other people? We live in Cambridge, we live in a small city, you know, as well. And I don't
So you
think
see,
he,
you
if
see,
he, if I found out he was dating other girls, or even talking to other girls whilst coming to see me, man, that's not cool, man. Do you know what I mean?
But then he doesn't want to be in a relationship. I feel like he's definitely seen other people. I'm not gonna lie, because I just don't see what's stopping it. I mean, what do you think is stopping him? Because you know him more than all of us.
Not that it's stopping him, but I know, like, maybe the nature of a conversation is like, oh, you know, I hope there are no issues. Like, if I see, like, he didn't, like, say good night to me the night before or something, like, stuff like that. I don't know. It's like, sometimes when he's here, like, he's been away over Christmas in Kent, and like, and I asked him like, "Oh, did you see any girls?" Like stuff like that. He always says, "No, of course not." And it's like I don't expect him to see other girls. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you have asked him in the past if he's seen other people and he said no.
If he saw like anyone in the clubs or whatever, like when he went to see his family over the Christmas season, you know. So I feel like we kind of have this expectation that we don't speak to other people, but he well could be. He well could be. It's just for me, like it sucks because I'm actually really attracted to him. I think I like him, and I don't know, and I don't really see myself dating like multiple people at the same time. I'm just not that kind of person.
I
So
mean,
my mind is on him.
other people, because I mean, you spoke about his D, right? You said,
Yeah, and that physical part is good, like the intimacy part.
yeah.
So, what do you do then?
honestly, I hear what you guys are saying, but on like you, Esther, who feels like you put power in someone else's hand when you ask that question, I think for me, I'd kind of like take the power back. Maybe because we're like, um different genders, I'd say. But for me, I kind of like I take control of the situation when I ask the question, because for me, my mind, and I understand where Marta is coming from, because when I'm hung up on someone, I literally, I'm not looking at anyone else. It's like
Yes.
it's that like, even when I'm going out with other people, especially when I've not had that concrete conversation. If it's that I've had that conversation with someone and they're like, I'm just going with the flow, I'm just looking at where things go, then I know for certain that, okay, when I'm going on dates with other people, it's not a big deal. This is what the person has said. This is what I feel like the situation is. So yeah, it's all cards, on the, I'm playing the game just as well.
Of
But
course.
when I haven't,
No, I hear.
yeah, yeah, but when I haven't asked that question, it just keeps nagging in my mind, because I'm just like, okay, so what exactly is going on? Am I messing something up by going on other dates? Is it that the person just needs time? What exactly? So I get definitely, um if you have that rapport with him to have like that conversation, I think it's what the short of just asking, like, not necessarily, okay, do you want to date, more like asking what exactly does the relationship mean to him, and where does he see it going, and just kind of like have a sense of how he even sees you. To be honest, even if it's not a concrete reply, I think if you as an adult and someone who is intuitive, which I think all women are, to be honest, you would
Very,
be
yeah.
able to get from his reply where his headspace is. Even if you take his reply and tell maybe like a close friend, okay, this is what he said. If you're not sure, someone most definitely in your circle will be able to tell you that, right, this is what this reply means. It's definitely better than not asking at all or not knowing anything. And I think it's also better than just silently walking away, because then you would always have that thing in your mind of what could have been. Maybe I could have asked, maybe something could have happened. But I just feel like
Yeah.
at certain times like this where you're confused, it definitely does you more service to kind of just like clear the air for yourself. I think that's where,
I mean, I personally don't agree. I don't know. I just feel like men are very intentional. Anytime I'm with a guy that likes me, you just know. Like, you don't have to ask these things, because you got to think men are not babies.
no, I
Like,
understand what you're saying, Esther. You're
matters
right.
matters in the fact that when they want something, they will get it. So the fact that you're not feeling the communication, you're not feeling like you want a relationship, I honestly think asking him, I really think it's just hurting yourself, because I feel like you would have seen that in his intention. He would be the one saying, "Oh, I'm trying to make you my woman." All the men that I've got into relationships with, I never had to have any conversation with them. It was, "You're my girl." Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? But any man that I've had to be like, "What's going on?" It's never led anywhere, because they were never interested. So I guess maybe that's what I've learned from my previous experience, that honestly, believe a man. When the first time he shows you what he's about, believe him. Do not be trying to assume anything. Don't be trying to, I hope you can change the situation. Just on to the next one. Have your options, and whoever is ready to commit first, that's the person you take seriously. That's just what I've literally, in terms of my experience, that's just how I see it. I feel like asking a man, sitting down with him, just being like, "Oh, what do you want? Where do you see this going?" To me, it's putting way too much powers in his hands, because I feel like,
Okay. What about a scenario where, because the problem is with that, he's not straight up. He's not a straight up person, I don't think, like the guy that you are describing from your past. I feel like he keeps his cards close to his chest, and I don't feel like he's the type of guy that will sit me down and say, "Oh yeah, like I wanna be with you, I wanna make you my woman." He's not the type of guy, believe me.
I
And
know,
it's like,
I'm not saying like they have to tell you directly, "You're gonna be my woman." I'm saying their actions will tell you what they want. So his
yeah,
actions be kind of like, um you're my girl, right? They're wanting to do like relationship stuff with you, and then more time, he's the one that's gonna be like, oh, so you're not seeing anyone else, yeah? You're so just checking that there's no other man, and then it's like at that point you'd be like, so we're together, yeah? And then it'll be like, of course. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And it's the actions that tell you that, okay, this man is serious about me. But the moment you're confused and you don't know what's going on, best believe that man has got other options and he's weighing it out to see who's gonna win. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I see it. And that's because I speak to my boys as well. My cousin gave me a harsh reality of life. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to get upset because especially like I had one guy that I really liked, and my cousin was just like, girl, bye. Do you think he's just speaking to you? And I was like, well, yeah, he speaks to me every day. He calls me every day. And it's like, well, I'm gonna break it down to you. The fact that he's not really like giving you everything you want, and he's not, when you're talking about relationship, he's not really giving you all that. And especially this guy, he had one thing that he kept doing where he'll speak to me like every day, and then for 2 days he won't communicate with me. My cousin was like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. That relationship, that man doesn't want to be in a relationship. And it was a harsh reality. And I just had to learn from just taking a man's actions for what it is and not assume or wish I can change anything. I mean, it's good to stick around. If you feel like you have that patience to stick around and find out, fair enough. If that's what you want to do, that makes you feel better, of course. But I just wouldn't, like, I wouldn't advise it. I would advise opening up your options, and maybe if you want to have those conversations with him, it's up to you. You can. I don't think you need to. I think his actions have already told you everything you need. And if he then feels like he wants to commit, then you take him seriously. Then it's actually a conversation in your head. I feel like at this point, it shouldn't even be a conversation in your head until he's the one making the efforts to be like, when am I going to see you? Oh, okay. You know what? This is a man I actually need to be speaking about. At this point, I feel like you should have Tyrone, you should have Jake, you should have freaking Mark, and be like, which one do I want to be with? But I understand if you're a lover girl and you put all your cards on the table, but I just feel like not every man deserves that. Not every man deserves for you to go all in for them until they're giving you that commitment that you need. That's just what I think.
Where can I meet a nice, well, I've been on Tinder before and stuff, and you just don't really meet anyone on there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't really recommend Tinder. I went on there once. Yeah, it was the ghetto. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. But Hinge, have you ever heard of Hinge?
No, not really. I've heard maybe, but it's the same as Tinder, no? Essentially.
It's actually quite good. Like, I met some good guys on there.
Really?
And Hinge, yeah. And someone said Bumble. Bumble's a good app as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, I hope you saw it out with him. And another thing I want to talk about just quickly before we go, because I want to round up for in like 3 minutes. So let's be concise. So what would you say is the one thing that you dislike for a man to do, or something that a man has done to you that you're just like, straight red flag, men need to stop doing this? Or, and you, Timmy, I guess you can give a specific perspective from both angles, but what would you say that something for your partner to do that is just like a no-no?
Who goes first?
Ooh.
Whoever wants
You
to
go first. You go first.
Oh, okay. I think for me, this one is a no-no. So we're outside, for instance, and we're trying to, sometimes when you want to go out with your partner and you guys have like different ideas or like different opinions as to what you want. Should we see this movie? Should we see this other one? Sometimes like the whole process of planning something, especially when it's spontaneous, can get like a little bit hiccupy sometimes. So you guys just have to, or maybe you're not like in the best of moods and you just want to just go out and just chill out or something. And then we're outside and we're trying to pick between Avatar or Puss in Boots, what should we watch or something. And you know, it's more like, oh, let's say this one or let's say that one. And for some reason you just become unkind. Like I think that's what the actual deal breaker is for me. When people that I'm seeing are unkind, even within the context of a disagreement, I feel like you can still have fights that are not disastrous. Like you're not just going all out, you know, being mean and saying all sorts of things.
So that you
Or
don't have a partner insulting you, basically.
yeah, that's a no.
I
And
feel like
I don't take myself that
uh,
seriously. If it's just banter, we could actually just go back and forth, like roasting and stuff. Like I think you can tell when something is just light-hearted banter, and you can actually tell when it's taking the turn to something more sinister, I would say. So, you know,
yeah,
especially when, yeah, both outside, inside, especially when you're outside of for some
yeah.
reason, when you can just like, you know, have like a little moment to just call your partner to order, or I don't like this, can we kind of stop? You just go all out on your partner, especially at the for especially when people are watching, almost like you're doing it for the to get like validation from someone else. You
Yeah.
know, that just like basically throwing
Oh,
your partner under the bus.
no, sorry, I'm just reading the comments. Verona, big up, man. We need you in the next live because you're in a marriage, so we need to get that perspective. Because I feel like a lot of single people be having a lot to say, but we don't be hearing from people that are actually in happy marriages. That's what we want to hear from. That's what we want to get game from. We don't need to be getting game from Andrew Tate that nobody fucking knows or not. Do you know what I mean? That's what we need. I don't understand. All these relationship gurus don't even have a relationship and they have the most to say. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's very true, isn't it?
It really is, honestly. But yeah, what about you, Marta?
I was just gonna say about Andrew Tate, like someone told me like he's got 4 children. Is that true?
I don't know. He refused to tell us if he had a girlfriend. I mean, he said
Really? He didn't tell you
four
anything?
women. I think he mentioned in the podcast like he had 4 women that he was married to. Well, I
What?
didn't married to them or he's dating them at the same time. I have no idea.
Are you friends with Denalva on the outside of the podcast, I think, right?
Yeah, me and
Yeah.
Donald friends, yeah.
Yeah, I like it too. Anyways, yeah, like for me, it's just like the absolute no-nos is when, yeah, like if you go out in public with someone is aggressive towards you, just like the general vibe, you know? So when someone is stingy with you, when they just like, they just want to keep it all to themselves, when someone's just, yeah, like sometimes you can really see the signs of aggression in people. And for me, it's just a no,
So
like no way.
aggressiveness, you're like, hell no. I need a man that spends his money.
Yeah, and also like, what is it? What I really don't like when someone's like like when someone's proper simping all the time, like giving you too many compliments, just doing too much.
Sorry, you don't like a man that compliments you?
No, I said when they're doing too much, when there's just constant, you know what I mean? Constant.
I need a man to simp for me. I can't relate. I need you to simp. What do you mean? No, I need you to make me your world. I'm not complaining about that.
No, no. Only to a certain extent, I bet. What if he was messaging you like, oh yeah, you look so good in this picture, you look so good in the other one. Baby, you look so good. Like once he sees you like all the time, it will get a bit too much, or no?
I
I
guess
don't know.
I get much, but I'd rather he simps for me than he doesn't communicate with me. That to me is not a problem. That is like, oh, okay, because eventually it's gonna wear off, right? Like eventually he's not gonna be telling you all his compliments all the time. But I would rather that than someone that doesn't communicate with me at all or communicates me to like with me once a week or something. So I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes we women are our own problem, because we say that we want a guy to be all complimented, you want him to show us love, and then when he does, it's like, oh, he's a simp. I don't like that word. I feel like it makes men feel like they can't fall into their feminine energy. It makes them feel like whenever they're being romantic with a woman, they're going to be seen as simps, when it's like they're just trying to show you love. And I feel like when women say things like that, I feel like it makes them feel like they should fall back. And then I think that's what's now causing this whole it's taking away chivalry. Like, it's making men just feel like they don't need to do shit for women, and they're like, fuck you. Like, they don't even want to take women on dates anymore. They're like, well, she can come to me, I don't need to do no romantic stuff. They don't even buy flowers anymore. Like, I feel like we just need to be careful about using words like that, because I feel like it hurts a man's ego. That's what I would say about that.
True.
I kind of think I get where Marta is coming from a little bit, because I feel like if every single time, I just think there are certain times that compliments become excessively superficial, and I'm one to quickly get a hang of when someone is being patronizing with a compliment. Like, I already know I look good. Thank you very much. I appreciate compliment, but there are just certain times I just feel like this is not genuine compliment, and I really don't know what to do with this. For me, I'm able to just.
Man, what do you mean you don't know what to do? Say thank you.
I mean, I said thank you, but then, like, also, maybe when it comes from someone that I am actually like actively dating, then yeah. But like certain times when I'm seeing someone, we're just still in like the very early stages of our relationships, it's kind of like, I think for me, it's just an intuition thing. I'm able to tell when someone is giving like a genuine compliment. Like, I've heard a lot of compliments. I've heard other people give other people compliments, and I think for myself, I'm able to decipher when a compliment is genuine and when it's just forced, or it's just something that you just say just to say. And I feel like if you don't really mean something, like, there's something I started doing because I go to like a lot of fashion events here in Nigeria, and certain times you're just forced to say, oh my god, your outfit is really nice, even when it's not. So sometimes I just look for something that is actually quite truthful in my compliment. I could say, oh, you look well.
I understand that. In terms of looking for the genuinity, I feel like I can get behind.
Yeah. So
but a guy that is seeing you and likes you, that is genuine, because he likes you. That's why he was. Yeah. If he said beautiful, he actually means it, because that's why he wants to be with you.
Oh, another thing that I always tell people to look at when they're dating partner, because certain times we kind of like, absorb a lot of compliments that's thrown our way, that we don't actually see what our partners are doing when it's not done to us. Whenever I'm going out with someone and they treat someone else
by the
bad.
Because I want to leave in 1 minute. So yeah, just your last word. Yeah.
Once they treat someone else bad, that's a very big red flag for me. If we're outside and you're being condescending with people, Uber drivers, waiters, whatnot, it's just a matter of time before you actually get that way with me, because it shows that because you don't have any interest towards those people, your true self is actually coming to the surface. Yeah, that's a red flag for me.
What are your last words, Marta?
Oh, last word. Oh no. Yeah, no, all I want to say is, thank you, and I really enjoy having those conversations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I really do enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy it. I will.
No, we did.
Hope everyone comes back next week. Hopefully we can get a man and a woman and have this conversation. I feel like it's so important to listen to each other, to bridge this gap. I can't say that word. Bridge the gap. And block out this toxicity that's going on the internet. So and just spread some positivity in the dating life and get all of us into relationships and marriage in Jesus' name.
Definitely.
Yeah, right. Okay, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night, Marta.
Good night. Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.